Okay. Prestige Croson Consulting Firm, PCCF, together with Y.Y.C.I International, are presenting to you this morning on Diploma in Conflict Management. And we've started the whole section since last week, 19th of February. And today is also another day for us to continue to enlarging our territory by increasing our knowledge. So let us start off. Yes, like I said, we've started already. And today we're going to be talking about understanding the main concept and the theory of international conflicts and conflict resolution. So let's move on. And the person that will be speaking to you today is Elizabeth Lucas Afolalu. So let me just introduce her quickly.
Story that is unimaginable. Do you want to learn to restore and reconnect your relationships? Do you want to live the happiest life you could ever dream of? Do you want to create wealth? It all starts with the right mindset. Elizabeth Lucas Afolalu has a tremendous amount of wisdom to share to assist you in living your best life possible. She is an award-winning inspirational and transformational speaker, writer, coach, and entrepreneur extraordinaire who inspires people worldwide with her personal story. For many years, her passion has been inspiring and empowering and transforming lives and relationships. For her clients, mindset is everything. Elizabeth believes everyone can become, achieve, be fulfilled, be successful, and be happy with the right positive mindset. Also, having the right attitude, resilient and willing to change, are important aspects of personal growth. Living life with determination, diligence, and having positive thinking and working hard can lead to a successful life you never dreamed of. She believes people can build deeper and healthy relationship with awareness of greater love, better understanding of ourselves and others, marriage and positioning. And it is possible to rebuild, reconnect broken trust and relationship, promoting and empowering relationship and family. In her businesses, she enjoys coaching, mentoring and supporting women, young married couples and young adults. She believes this can transpire in relationships, families, friendship, success and prayer. She also has a company in which she creates personal, intentional, and inspirational customized gifts. She has created thousands of unique and unusual, memorable, creative, personalized, and inspirational gifts for all tastes and budgets. Elizabeth Creations has taken the idea of creative gifts to a whole new level, with the innovative concept of actually buying minutes of time from the past, present, or future. Elizabeth has a motivation and passion for business which led her to obtain honors degree in business and management at University of Northampton, United Kingdom. Elizabeth has worked with several organizations in various fields, and she is actively involved with and supports several NGO/charity, and for all her contributions and involvement, she was awarded Inspiration and Relationship Award, Legend Award for Community and Humanity. Currently, she is the Managing Director of Elizabeth Creations Limited, Director of Tokens Limited, founder of Y.Y.C.I International. She is the UK Chief Bureau Editor of an American magazine, Oakens Group magazine, and an exceptional award-winning author of Yes, You Can. Featured in national press, NBC, ABC, and Fox News, other magazines including Business Magazine. She is also an acclaimed author who writes in her book how she has failed several times and bounced back, overcome all adversities, challenges, financially, physically, emotionally, abuses, and trauma, and come up stronger. She has turned all her situations from impossible to possible and from negative to positive, and believes anyone can do too, and she is determined to help others as well. One of her missions is to support youths, women, families, individually, locally, and internationally, offline and online through media and resources, gifts, products, workshops, seminars, and speaking engagements to change their mindset, discover, develop, manifest their gift, build deeper relationship, and maintain, restore, and reconnect relationship and families, manage their emotions, and be free and be happy, learn to forgive themselves and others, learn to love themselves and love others, create roadmap for the youth for the future. Her latest book, Yes, You Can, is about her personal experiences and stories and how she used simple principles to become who she is today and what she has achieved so far. Also, how her personal life and her relationships have been transformed. She is a living testimony and permit her to share some of what people have testified about her in her book document. All her businesses and business ventures, Elizabeth puts forth her own inspirational personal touch. This makes her unique talents and products motivational tools that everyone can benefit from.
Okay, so now we are going to start off this section, and I'm privileged because I'm the one going to be sharing the topic for today, which is the conflicts resolution in international or national. And before I move on, let me quickly let you know that this section is part of Prestige, Prestige Consulting Firm diploma program for managing and resolution of crisis or conflicts. So I am part of the speaker, and that is why I'm speaking here today. So my topic today is very, very interesting. But before we move on to the topic, let me first of all share with you that there are 4 factors that can limit and stop us from fulfilling our purpose, achieving our goals, and succeeding in life. And also to transform our lives, our leadership, and any other things that we lay hands to do is because of these 4 factors. Because they are limiting us and they are also stopping us in order for us to fulfill our full potentials. Number 1 is ignorance. Number 2 is lack of understanding. Number 3 is lack of vision. And then number 4 is unknown of our identity, of who we are, our purpose, and our why. And that is why Elizabeth Lucas Afolalu, we keep on saying that it is time for us to shift our mindset from fixed mindset to growth mindset and from negative to positive, because that is the only way we can progress in life. And that is also the only way we can solve the problem in this world. So everything in life requires hard work, education, dedication, commitment, sacrifice, investment, honesty, integrity, and gratitude. And you can only fulfill all this by renewing your mindset and keep learning every day. So as a leader, leaders are supposed to be a learner and also to share their knowledge, their wisdom, and their experience to others to follow and also to implement. However, curiosity will keep us all thirsty for more. And no matter your level of education, you should never stop learning. And Mama said, and I quote, "A thirst for knowledge is something that can never be quenched and should be a lifelong quest." So discover your capability and discover who you are, discover what you have, and discover yourself. And from there, you'll be able to develop and also impact into other people's life. We all have a dreams, and all our dreams can come through if we have the courage to pursue them by what Disney. And mindset is everything. Without renewing mindset, there will be no transformation. Wisdom is the principal thing, and in all our getting, we get understanding, better understanding of life, which lead us to better and quality performances and to fulfill our purpose in life. We only start by personal development, self-actualization, self-assessment, and self-love. And we also need to examine what is going around us, the situation, the challenges, even these conflicts that we are talking about, with critical thinking and also with creative thinking to find solution to the world. So let's move on. First of all, I would like to welcome all our great leaders on the platform. I want to appreciate your time, and I want to appreciate the fact that you are with us to learn today. So we will start off by, first of all, streamlining it and for the Facebook to be able to join us. So thank you so much, Dr. Lonsington, for joining us today. I know you won't be able to be speaking because of your voice and because you are facing health challenge at the moment, but we appreciate your staying with us today in the background, and we won't like to enforce you to speak, but we will try our best to do what you have entrusted us to do on this platform in the management of conflicts diploma program. I also want to welcome my PA, Ambassador Lukman. Thank you for joining us today, and Dr. Samina, and also another speaker that will be joining us too, Dr. Stephen Cameron, because I'm not going to be the only one speaking today. That is for sure. Okay, so you are all welcome. So let me start with my own section today. Let me see the chat box. All right, okay. I'm still waiting for all the PCCF members. None of them has joined us, but we will still continue. And all right, okay, I think okay, so I'm waiting for them to join us while we continue the diploma training on conflicts resolution and management. Right, so I'm going to start my section now, and my first thing I will say is we are talking about conflicts. So what is because my own section today is about international conflicts. We've been talking about, so I don't want to go back and start explaining to you what conflict is all about, because I think probably I just need to mention one or two. Let me see if I can do that, to mention one or two, and then we can continue. Right. So when we talk about conflicts, we are talking about conflicts is a serious disagreement or argument, an active disagreement between people with opposing opinion or principles. Conflict is a state or condition of opposition, disagreement, or incompatibility. It can be between the people, ideas, or force. It can also be a mental struggle or a clash of interests. Conflict was thought to be a diversional outcome, a result of poor communication and a lack of trust between co-workers or between people and nations, leaders. Conflict was associated with words like violence and destruction, and people were encouraged to avoid it at all costs. Conflict resolution is the process of settling disputes and reaching peaceful resolution. It's often used in any area, in our environment, in our family, even in the government, even in the nation. When there is conflicts between people, but the skills apply to every other relationship. Conflicts is also means different things to different people, and there are various types of conflicts. In basic terms, conflicts is a serious disagreement or an argument. So conflicts usually happen between people when they have different opinions on things. So what is conflict resolution then? Conflicts in the workplace or in any nation can sometimes arise when two or more parties have different objectives, opinions, or styles. Conflict resolution is the art of addressing those differences and finding a common ground that enables everyone to work together both nationally, globally, and also internationally. What is conflict management then? Conflict management is the set of techniques required to identify and resolve conflicts in the workplace. So these are all the things that we have already covered so far in our journey. But why is the conflict resolution process so important? It is so important because it can be adjusted based on what works best in a situation. It can be important because conflict resolution is necessary for many. Poorly handling conflicts can have serious consequences. It is also very important that conflict resolution teaches us active listening. We need to be listening to one another. Okay. It also teaches us patience. It teaches us to separate conflicts from the peoples involved. Conflict resolution as well, as it's important because it also teaches us how we can have open communication, how to teach assessment, and also how to be empathy. Conflict also resolution also helps us deal with stress. Conflict resolution helps group reach their goals, and also conflict resolution can spark information. And these are all the main reasons why conflict resolution is very, very important. Okay, so let's continue with our today's topic. Our topics is on international conflicts. But before I move on, let me welcome every one of our great leaders on the platform: Dr. Samina Evelyn, Dr. Lonson Tom, Ambassador Lukman, Dr. Stephen Cameron, and also Ambassador Sarah Samuel. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to make Sister Ambassador Sarah as the co-host so that he can bring people in. I want to also make Dr. Lonson, at least he can be working at the background to bring people in. I'm also going to make Lukman, where is Lukman, as the co-host. So while we are sharing and discussing this morning, please help me to add people in as they come in, so that we can concentrate, and hopefully today can be a wonderful day when we learn together. So let me continue. What is international conflict? International conflict by Kate Malek and by Hedy Bogress is traditionally, the terms international conflicts referred to conflicts between different nation states and conflicts between people and organizations in different nation states. Increasingly, however, it also applies to intergroup conflicts within one country, when one group is fighting for independence or increased social, political, or economic problem and power. So, okay, sorry, 1 second. All right. So, well, that we have talked about that, let's talk about different types of international conflicts. We have the private sector of international conflicts. A distinction is made between the private sector international conflicts, which are conflicts between individuals and or businesses, which just happen to come from two different countries, and conflicts between different national governments. Private conflicts are similar in nature to private domestic, interpersonal, or business conflicts, except that they are further complicated by distance, culture, sometimes language, and ambiguity regarding whose law will be applied. So that is very, very important that we bear that in mind. Sometimes these issues become very difficult to handle, but international business contracts call for dispute resolution through arbitration, which one of many international arbitration organizations have to work on. And this avoids jurisdictional disputes and moderates some of the other complication as well. And that is private sector international conflict. But let's look at the public international conflict. Public international conflicts tend to be much more difficult to resolve. While this term was originally limited to conflicts between sovereign nation states, in the last 2 decades now, an increasing number of so-called international conflicts have actually been intergroup or communal conflicts within one country, like in Africa, like in Nigeria. We have the travel problem, we have the religion conflicts, we have even other political conflicts among themselves. So these also are called the public international conflict, which involve the members or which involves the nations, which involves the people in the nation, in the country. In most of these cases, the issue in dispute has been the sovereignty of a particular ethnic group or region, the equality of those ethnic groups in the political, social, and economic structure of their own society. It's also bounds on public international conflicts. For example, let's take Nigeria, for example. There will be a crisis between the eastern and also the western or the northern, because their own opinion and ideas are different. But only if they can come together on the same table and open dialogue and share their views together. Because if not, that is not in place. That is the place where we start fighting one another, and there is war, intertribal war, we have domestic war. We have so many wars out there, even the nation. So international intervention in these domestic conflicts increasingly common. Oh yes, and that's why we have the peacekeeper, the UN, and other things. But we will move on. So an example of a private sector international conflict would be a conflict between US computer company and a Japanese company which was supplying motherboard for the US company. So that can be an example of a private sector. That means a company from one country to another, and the same company can be in another country. These conflicts might be harder to handle unless there was some sort of written agreement about what will be done in the case of disagreement. And that is why, for example, if you want to you want to move your business to global, these are the signs that you need to be looking at. These are the points, the factors that you need to look into. Because you can't just leave one country, or say you want to extend your organization and you want it to be operating in UK, operating USA. You have to go through some segments, some requirements, some legislative, because the way we handle things in one country might be different from the way they handle things in another country. So whatever you want to do have to meet up with their requirement. Because if that's not in place, that is where conflicts also will rise up. For example, the way we operate Tesco Superstore here in UK is totally different from the way they operate it in USA. So that is because if you don't go through all this legislation and all this requirement, then you will be stuck and there will be disagreement. So that is what we call private sector international. So when you are having your business, or when you want to relate or collaborate with another country, then these are the thoughts that you need to be having, so that you will know that you are doing the right thing at the right time at the right place. Okay, but public conflict can also be resolved by an international body such as United Nations, but that does not occur very often. Most often, the countries engage in diplomacy, negotiating a settlement to their own differences, or they continue their conflicts at the various degrees of intensive and violent, just like what is going on presently at Ukraine and Russia, and also in Israel and the Pakistan, the Pakistan, not that is going on in Gaza. So, so that is why that even though we have we have the United Nations that can interfere in every other conflicts in the internationally, still the country within themselves as well, they can reach an agreement and they can negotiate. I remember a long time ago when we had a problem between between England and what's this place called now? Northern Ireland, you know. So there was a lot of violence, there are a lot of destructions, there are a lot of wars going on during that time. But luckily, years after, they reach an agreement. I remember that they make an agreement even on one very good Friday like this. And since then, things have become better, relationships have been built up, understanding has reached some levels, and we are able to negotiate together. These are the kind of things that you will say when we are resolving public conflicts. At times, intermediary are private citizens, often members of one of the peace churches. The churches can involve, the peacekeepers can involve, and many, many more people also can involve, or maybe the advisor. But we talk more about this as the time goes on. Okay, so now that, because I don't want to dwell much, you all are aware, if you are watching news, if you are reading papers every day, you are aware of what is going on around you. You are aware of what is going on in your nation. You are aware of what is going on in another country close, your neighboring country. You are aware of what is going on even in the world, in another country somewhere. So you are not movies about it. And you keep on listening, you keep on seeing, and you keep on hearing a lot of what's going on around us. So nobody is movies about anything that is going on, all this violence, all these destructions. So that is why I'm not going to dwell too much on all that, because you all know. And if you don't know at all, keep reading your papers, newspapers, watch television, and also watch the TV, news. Watch TV, listen to the news, and then you will see that the war is all over the place. Okay. But we want to now dwell on how can we manage the conflicts? How can we handle the conflicts? And how can we manage the conflicts both internationally? While peacekeeping hurting the violence is generally easy to accomplish that peacemaking, the negotiation of a peace agreement is necessary. It is not an end state, but it is the beginning. Rather, it leaves the conflicts in suspension until peacemaking and later peace building can succeed. Peacekeeping, peacemaking, and peace building. We talk much about it in this section. I have invited two or more to also speak on that. It has been charged that in some cases, this suspension of hostility distracts from the peacemaking process as it becomes apparently unnecessary. The warning nations of faction became dependent on the provision of outside peacekeepers forever, which is seldom, and if ever a variable situation. This charge has been leveled at a certain situation. So example of public, now I'm going back to the public. Example of public international conflicts are in the news daily, like I said to you. The conflicts between the Israel and the Palestine, that's what I want to mention that time, is an international conflict, as is the conflict between the Russia and the Ukraine. But more and more conflicts within our own country, in our own nation, are considered to also be an international too. If international intervention is being contemplated or has actually occurred, then we can do more better. So, controversy. When we are talking about international conflicts, we are looking at a controversy, a disagreement, quarrel, or warfare among two nations, often requiring involvement or monitoring by other members of the global community. Okay, so what causes conflicts in a country? Unresolved regional tension, like what is going on with Ukraine and Russia, a breakdown in the rules of law, absent or co-opted state institution, illicit economic gain, because some people, that is the main reason why they allowed that war to take place in the first place, their own gain of economy, and the scarcity of resources by climate change have become dominant driver of the conflict. So all these things, you can read more about it on the paper called New Era of Conflict and Violence, United Kingdom, and you can get it from www.un.org/en/EUN75/New Era Conflict and Violence. So you can read more about that. Okay, so international conflict is the result of behavior designed to destroy, to injure, to destroy people, to destroy lives, to destroy properties. Otherwise, control another country or group of countries or their policy. That is the main reason why international conflicts establish. Is to destroy, to injure, to kill, and also to take advantage and take control of another country, and also to take control of their policy. And that's one of the reasons why international conflicts is there in the space. And like I asked one question yesterday, can we prevent it? How can we prevent conflicts? Maybe not at a higher level, but at a certain point. Because it's the innocents that are dying. Our children, wives, young ones, the innocent ones are the ones dying when there is war. Watch everything on the TV and you will be so emotional about it. But why? Why the conflict? Why can't be another way around to do things instead of destruction, instead of injuring and killing innocent souls? A new era of conflicts and violence again. The nature of conflicts and violence has transformed substantially since the UN was founded in 75 years ago. Conflicts now tend to be less deadly, and often waged between domestic groups rather than states, because everything starts from home. If your home is in disorder, then definitely you will carry the same attitudes to the world. The long-term impact on development of interpersonal violence, including the violence against children, is even more widely recognized now. Children are dying every day. Youth are dying every day. Even families are being destroyed, separated from one another. Properties are being destroyed. Separately, technologically advanced has raised concern about lethal autonomous weapon and cyber attack, the weaponization of the ports and the drones, and the live streaming of extremist attacks. There has also been a rise in criminal activities involving data hacks and ransomware. For example, meanwhile, international cooperation is under strain, diminishing global potential for the prevention and the resolution of conflict and violence in all forms. These are all the things that are going on, and these are the new era now. But the most effective way to diminish human suffering and the massive economic cost of conflicts and their aftermath is to prevent conflicts in the first place. Can it be happen? Oh, yes. It all depends on the state of the mind of the government, the state of the mind of the leader that is initializing it. and the state of the mind of those around him or her. The United Nations plays an important role in conflict prevention, using diplomacy, good office, and mediation. But we need more, because we can hear it every day. Instead of it to be reducing this international conflict, instead of it to be reducing, it's increasing every day. Among the tools the organization uses to bring peace are special envoys and political mission in the field. So we are talking about peacekeeper or peacekeeping here. Peacekeeping has proven to be one of the most effective tools available to UN to assist countries to navigate the difficult path from conflict to peace. Today's multidimensional peacekeeping operations are called upon not only to maintain peace and security, but also to facilitate political processes, protect civilians, assist in the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of former combatants, support constitutional processes and the organization of elections, protect and promote human rights, and assist in restoring the rules of law and the extended legitimate state authority. That is what the peacekeepers will do. And every one of us, we can contribute to this. Every one of us should become a peacekeeper, not only for a higher level or international level, but you can start even right in your own community. Because what happens in the family extends to community. What happens in this community extends to society and the nation. And then it comes to international or globally. So peacekeeper operation gets their mandate from UN Security Council. Their troops and the police are contributed by member states, and they are managed by the Department of Peace Operation and supported by the Department of Operation Support at UN headquarters in New York. So there are 11 UN peacekeeping operations currently deployed, and there have been a total of 71 deployed since 1948. But can we do more? Oh, yes, we can. And that will take me and you to involve in that. We all have to carry that responsibility. We need to sometimes voluntarily work for United Nations to be part of the peacekeeping in any country. In 2019, the Secretary General launched the Action for Peacekeeping Initiative, A4P, to renew mutual political commitment to peacekeeping operation. So these are the things that the UN are also contributing. But UN is United Nations. But individual can be part of this operation. And that is why they have created as well, they have created sustainable development goals for the year 2030. My questions to you and myself is, are we ready to implement those goals? Are we ready to join hands together so that we can achieve that goals before even 2030? Because if we are talking about war, war is about violence and destructions against humanity, against our children, against the youth and the women and the men. So it's about time that we rise up. If you have not registered to become a volunteer for United Nations, maybe this is the time you need to think about it. Why? Because you have greatness in you, because you have the solution in you that we are waiting for. You have the ideas that we can carry out. Because like I said, yes, UN has been operating since 75 years, but there's still more to be done. Because new types of violence and destructions are rising up. And the more we have all this destruction, the more we need to be learning more of how to solve the conflict. And you have a solution, you have an idea. So don't just sit down there and think everything is okay. If it is okay for your family, then it will be okay for your community. If it's okay in your community, it can be okay in your nation before we also reach out to the international. So that is how our mindset need to be thinking. Peace building. Remember, we just spoken about peacekeeping. Now we want to talk about peace building. United Nations, again, peace building activities are aimed at assisting countries emerging from conflicts, reducing the risk of relapsing into conflicts, and laying the foundation for sustainable peace and development. The UN peace building architecture comprises the Peace Building Commission and the Peace Building Fund and the Peace Building Support Office. So if you are not aware of this, this is the time for you to reach out to know more about this and also see ways you can contribute to peace building. The Peace Building Support Office assists and supports the Peace Building Commission with strategies, advice, and policy guidance. Administer the Peace Building Fund and services, and the General Secretary in coordinating United Nations agency in their peace building efforts. So we need to take action. We need to create activities that can assist our nation, that can assist even your locality. For example, if you are the head of your community, you need to be thinking about this peace building in order to assist so that we can emerge the conflicts over there. Because once conflict is solved, that's part of the solution to the national problem. Then we have something we call countering terrorism. The United States, again, is being increasingly called upon to coordinate the global fight against terrorism. I remember in UK when we have that kind of problem many years ago. And we reached an agreement. And now we are living peacefully. Unlike before, we are all full of fear. They drop bomb anywhere. We prepared ourselves, and at the same time, our great government is also preparing how to negotiate with them, how to make sure that they put an end to those terrorism acts. 18 universal instruments against international terrorism have been elaborated within the framework of United Nations system related to specific theory activities. In September 2006, UN member states adopted the United Nations Global Counter-Terrorism Strategy. This was the first time that the member states agreed to a common strategies and operational framework against terrorism. You are sitting right here. You might still have an idea. Don't keep it to yourself. Speak it loud and let us learn from you, because there's still a lot to be done in order for us to coordinate and fight against terrorism. Disarmament. The General Assembly and other bodies of the United Nations, supported by the Office for Disarmament Affairs, work to advance international peace and security through the pursuit of eliminating of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction and the regulation of conventional arms. And I hope they succeed in this area as well. But let's come to our own area as well. We need to work together. Every one of us needs to become a peacekeeper. Every one of us ready to make sure we avoid conflicts, especially when it comes to government. You cannot break it down, but at the same time, you can do your part, and your part might be enough. So, preventing diplomacy. The Secretary General's vision for centering the organization's work on peace and security around preventing and through a surge in diplomacy for peace reaffirm the United Nations founding mission. Let me come down to our African people. What are we doing? What are we doing to reaffirm all this? What is our own contribution to peace? Are we joining hands together and supporting the violence, supporting the killers, supporting the corruption? Are we just sitting down watching them to take over the nation? Or are we bringing ideas to the table for how we can save our people, how we can secure them and let peace to reign, not only out there, but within yourself? Do you have peace of mind within yourself? Because if you don't have peace of mind, how do you want to promote peace? How do you want to build peace? How do you want to keep peace? Prevention diplomacy refers to diplomatic action taken to prevent dispute from escalating to conflict and to limit the spread of conflicts when they occur. Prevention is very better. It's better than cure. Like they said, prevention is better than cure. What are we doing in our own? We have pastors, we have leaders, we have traditional rulers and leaders. What are we doing as a traditional ruler? What are we doing as a pastor, as a minister, bishop? Are we doing enough? Or do we need to do more? What are we doing with all these personalities, high rate, distinguished ones? What are we doing? Because yes, we need the money to support, but what about the money to prevent these conflicts? Have we ever thought about that? Yes, I can see we're all working hard in our humanity, but have you thought of prevention is better than cure? Because maybe what we can spend in preventing it, the conflicts, the war, the violence, might not be enough, might not be too much than the ones that you will spend when the war has happened. Because remember, you have to do a lot, feeding the poor, the ones that are being attacked, the ones that have been affected. But unfortunately, many lives have been lost. So let us look at that area and feed our mindset, and let us know that we can do more in prevention, because that one is more better than the cure. Yes, we can cure people, but can we prevent it? That is my question since yesterday. While it is conducted in different forms and fora, both public and private, the most common expression of preventive diplomacy is found in the work of envoys, dispatch to crisis area to encourage dialogue, compromise, and the peaceful resolution of tension. If you don't get anything from this today, this is the most important one. You need to have open dialogue. You have to promote that. We have to promote compromise. We have to compromise. And also bring peaceful resolution to reduce the tension. It's very important. So if we want to prevent this crisis, we need to have an open dialogue. We need to be ready to compromise. And we also need to really raise the campaign of peace that can reduce the tension of people. Preventive diplomacy can also encompasses the involvement of Security Council, the General Secretary, and other actors to discourage the use of violence at critical moment. Probably that is the main key that we all need to look into. We also need to work on this. Maybe we need to campaign this peace more and discourage the violence and the critical moment. Probably those ones can help us to reduce the international conflicts as well. Instead of the mindset of us full of negativity, full of hatred, full of selfishness and greediness. Maybe we should shift our mindset to positive and see the other side of the coin. There's so many ways we can rule. There's so many ways we can control. There's so many ways we can lead. Even if you want to take the possession of something, there are so many ways you can compromise and also reach an agreement instead of killing the innocent people, the children most especially. Now, when we talk of special and personal representative, envoys, and advisors of the Secretary General, let me say this. What's more important with this set of people is their mindset. Because whatever you store in your mindset, whatever information you believe on, or the system, no matter what whatever you are thinking, will contribute to we contribute to the conflict resolution. Because we that we call ourselves advisors, are we developing ourselves? Are we upgrading our knowledge? Are we learning every day? And let the power of God also that created us walk through you and give a wise advice. Because sometimes all our leaders depends on their personal representative or secretary or assistant. Because they don't do it alone. Everything you see them doing must be from the advice given to them. What kind of advice? If you are being placed in a position, for example, let's take Russia president, for example. You are the advisor, the personal advisor to the president. What kind of advice are you giving them in the areas of security and peace in the land? You are the personal secretary or personal the general secretary, as they said. And you have so many advisors around you. What are they bringing to the table? Is it to destroy or to build? Because it's very important as an advisor. I am privileged because I'm a global advisor to many organizations, especially the NGOs. I'm not the only one. We are millions of advisors out there. But let's check what we are advising people. Because whatever you advise is what they take action on. Is it for building or is it for destroying? Is it for peace or is it for problem or trouble? Because we all of us, we have a part to play in solving the conflicts of the nation and of even the nations, our community, and even in our society. We have a part to play. And the more you are reading, the more you are learning, the more you are gaining knowledge, the more you are storing your mindset with right information, then you will be able to give a right solution, advice. If you don't get anything on this topic today, the most important thing is the position they have placed you. How well are you performing? In terms of bringing the right information to support the person that have appointed you. In terms of conflicts, how well have you been equipped? How well do you know? How great is your knowledge in terms of conflicts? Because if you know the benefits of solving these conflicts, then you will do more to research, to read, to learn, and bring more ideas, more innovation to the table. I still believe that we can prevent these conflicts, but it's all down to every one of us and our mindset. So that makes me to want to quickly say that we have to develop effective communication. If we want to make a dialogue, if we want to compromise, and if we want to bring peace in the land. Communication is the word. How we express ourselves, how we express our ideas, and how well are the people listening to us on the high table? How well do they understand what you have just delivered? So communication is very important. And under communication is active listening. Are we listening to one another? President, are you listening to your team, cabinet? Leaders, are you listening to your team members? Because it's very important. Yes, you are the leader. Yes, you are the one to lead the nation. You are the president, the head of state, and even leaders in your community. You can be the director, you can be the manager, you can even be the counselor, you can be you can be the Senate, House of Assembly members. So how well is your communication skills? And how ready are you to listen to others? And that will make me to want to say on this platform again, while we are talking about conflict resolution from up to international level. Active listening is a communication skills that involves going beyond simply hearing the words that another person speaks, but also seeking to understand the meaning and intent behind them. It requires being an active participant in the communication process. You listen first before you gain understanding. And like I will always say, better understanding is very, very important. It brings peace. In communication, active listening is important because it keeps you engaged with your conversation in a positive way. It also makes the other person feel heard and valued. Most of the violence going on in this world is because people are being denied of their own value. People are not being heard, or their opinions doesn't matter to some people, leaders. So that is why they can now decide that they will go through the violence to get what they want or to be heard and for people to know they exist. But it doesn't have to go that way. And that is why the leaders need to cultivate the habit of active listening, listening to your followers, listening to your cabinet members. This skill is the foundation of a successful conversation in any setting. If a leader is not ready to listen to his cabinet or listen to his nation members or even the people of the country, then there is a problem. There is a problem. So a leader, either you are a president or you are the head of state, because when you listen attentively to the people of your country, I'm sure the level of war can reduce. Maybe you don't even need to go to that war or wage war to another country. Maybe you don't even need to go through the violence and destruction when you listen attentively to the members or the people of your country or even in your environment. So importance of listening skills in communication when we are dealing with conflict resolution. It reduces misunderstanding. because poor communication always results in misunderstanding. It builds empathy, and empathy is essential to effective listening. It also limits judgments and improves business relationships. It also increases productivity and enhance your own leadership skills. And sometimes you need to welcome feedback because we are all developing and growing every day. So that is very important. Importance of listening skills in communication. True active listening takes concentration, but will demonstrate your interest in others' view, gain trust, and enable you as a leader to gain a deeper understanding of issues and communication. Even stakeholders may have questions and concerns and challenges they want to raise. But if you don't listen to the right people, how do you want to rule the nation? Because you don't want to tell me that your opinion is the only opinion that the nation needs. We're talking about wars. We're talking about conflicts in the nations. But have you thought of the consequences of that war? If we don't resolve the conflicts, have you thought about the consequences that will arise from there? So benefit of active listening is very important in building relationship. Active listening builds trust and strong relationship. We all need one another. As we are off waging wars against ourselves, Russia needs Ukraine. Same thing at Israel as well. And many, many countries, many states, even communities. We all need one another. Waging wars against ourselves will not solve any problem. Instead, it will destroy, kill, and damage lives. And I think that is not the way that God wants it. God created heaven and the earth and said that all is good. Why destruction? Why killing? But we need to listen to one another. Active listening can help you to resolve conflicts. Because while you are listening, ideas is coming your way, especially all the peacekeepers. While you are listening, you are getting the idea. So you need to listen attentively so that you will know the solution, so that you will know the right thing to say to solve the conflicts. Active listening also prevents you from missing important information. Remember, I said right from the beginning, ignorance can limit, can destroy, can kill, can also hold us back. So when you listen attentively, it prevents you from missing the important information. Active listening as well enables you to identify or anticipate problems. There's problems all over the world. And guess what? You are part of the solution. You have solution in your life, in your hand, in your heart. But if you don't listen to the problem properly, how will you bring out the right solution to that problem? We are problem solvers. We are solution carriers. Active listening as well helps you to build more knowledge. Yes, it might be only 4 or 5 on this platform. It might be 10 or 20 on the Facebook side. But every one of us needs to develop that skills to solve the problem and to solve the conflicts that always rises among us. So active listening helps us to build more knowledge because you don't know it all and you are not perfect. And you need to listen. Maybe the problem that the person is even facing right now that is sharing with you, or as a nation, maybe you also are going through the same problem. So when you listen to that person attentively and give them solution, do you know that the same solution you give them, you can apply it into your life? Speakers are always speakers when they also think about what they have said and take action when necessary. So it's very important. So leaders should always embrace learning and active listening. It's a powerful skills that support learning so that you can carry your organization or your nation forward. Focusing more intensively makes it possible to assimilate information and understand different topics better, and then remember more details from what you've learned. Do you know that all our leaders, head of states, presidents, royal leaders, traditional and royal leaders, and even all our influencers out there, do you know something? That they are so busy because they are accountable to many. They are responsible to millions of people. And that is why they have selected you as the personal advisor. That is why they have positioned some people to be the personal advisory board member so that they can support the leader. So imagine if one of you are among the advisor or members of the advisory board of that organization or of that country, or close to the president or head of state. You need to put yourself in a place that you have a responsibility. So what you are sharing is very important. And what you are gaining is very important. The president is so busy that he will always depend on what you are going to advise him. The president is so busy that because not only within the national, for example, in my country, Nigeria, President Tinubu, we travel to all over the country to build a diplomacy relationship, to present us, present Nigerians, present the country that is a place of safety. And we can do better than that if only we can collaborate together and bring ideas. So for somebody that travels there, you don't expect the person to now sit down 24 hours and start thinking of the solution to solve conflicts. But he has assigned so many people around, advisors, committees, cabinets, to be able to feed back, to be able to advise him. So if you are in that position, what an advice are you giving him? Because advice you are giving to the leaders matters. Advice that they are given to Putin in Russia matters. And many, many more leaders. We are all contributing to every state of every country. Every situation we are finding ourselves, we are all contributing to it. Because what advice are you giving? And for you to give advice, you need to develop yourself, develop your mindset, develop your knowledge, develop your thinking, develop your belief system. That is why the mind is polluted. A mind that is polluted will also lead to corruption. A mind that is polluted will lead to destruction. So we need to really watch out our mindset and feed it with an information that is suitable, that is valuable, that is resourceable to the nation. So we are all together if we want to really, really support the peace to reign in the country, internationally, nationally, even in our community. It's all going to down on individual. So listening is an important aspect of interpersonal relationships. When someone feels listened to, they feel loved and understood. We neglect all our youth when we're supposed to bring them closer and listen to them. And we blame them for the action they are taking. We neglect the people of the nation and we want to do what we think it is right and not carrying them along. If you are not closer to them and not listening to them, how will you know their problem to be solved? As a leader, you are called to solve the problem. You are called to serve the people. Any actions you are taking, does it secure your people in your country? Does it make them feel comfortable and happy? So their feelings are validated and they are often able to gain a deeper understanding of who they are. And the trust is a major commodity that active listening can help you establish. So I won't say any further because I think this will be my end section. And I believe that we can work on this section. We can work together. So on this note, I'm going to relax and also welcome Dr. Stephen Cameron to contribute to this lesson today. Dr. Stephen Cameron, are you here with me? Okay. Dr. Samina Evelyn, because they have prepared as well to share with us this morning. Okay. All right, Dr. Samina, it's your turn now.